Amanda from the Fundamental Home, and today is Saturday and I am making some chocolate chip cookies. It's actually supposed to snow overnight where we live, even though it's been in the upper 70s this week. And so Briana's with me today, and we just thought we would make a snack just to have something here in the house while we're enjoying the snow. Maybe if we can't leave tomorrow, we'll see how it goes. So I wanted to show you something quick about these cookbooks that I have, because I have a recipe for chocolate chip cookies that I use from my Better Homes and Gardens cookbook, but I actually have several different versions of the Better Homes and Garden cookbook, and each one has a little bit different variation on the recipe. So I'm going to show you it right over here. Okay, so here are my different cookbooks from Better Homes and Gardens. This one over here is the oldest one. You can see how old-fashioned-y that looks. And even when you open it on the inside, the pages are kind of brown. I got this for free at a yard sale. It was just in a free pile. I'm not sure which, I think this one is the next oldest. It's actually the cleanest, the Better Homes and Gardens new cookbook. And you can see the inside pages are very clean. It was not used at all. I think I also got that from a free pile at the same yard sale that this one was at. So just where I got that one from. This one right here was my very first Better Homes and Gardens cookbook, and it was given to me as a Christmas gift from my dad. Got me started on cooking. I went through this, but this book is like falling apart. Like, I'm just totally a wreck, but I still have it. I've used it forever. One of my favorites. And this one over here I got for Briana one year for Christmas, and it's a soft cover, and it's just one that she's worked some recipes in, but it also has recipes, chocolate chip cookie recipe in it. So look, I'm going to show you, this one is the one that I got for Christmas from my dad. It was the first chocolate chip cookie recipe that I used, and it's one of my favorites. You can see it has a half a cup of shortening. I hope you can see it. I hope it's clear. And a half a cup of butter, 1 cup packed brown sugar, half cup granulated sugar, half teaspoon baking soda, 2 eggs, a teaspoon vanilla, 2.5 cups all-purpose flour, 1 12-ounce package of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and 1.5 cups of different kinds of nuts. So that is the ingredients, right? Well, even though they're all Better Homes and Garden cookbooks, like I said, they all have a little bit different ingredients. Now, this one is actually the most similar. The ingredients are in a different order, but they're pretty much the same. The only one that's different is the nuts. Rather than 1.5 cups of nuts, this one has 1 cup. So that's the only difference in terms of the ingredients. Okay, this one that I got for Briana, I was surprised to find that it had a whole lot different ingredients. Now, first of all, the fats. This one has 3/4 cup butter and 1/4 cup shortening. Now, if you remember, the other 2 recipes were half and half. So this is a different variant on that. The other recipes also had a little bit difference in terms of the sugars are the same. The baking soda is different. This one, the baking soda is 3/4 teaspoon. The other one is only half a teaspoon. So I guess it gets a little more lifted. It also has salt in it where the other ones don't have salt. Everything else is the same as my first one. It's got 1.5 cups walnuts, just like the first recipe. The second one had 1 cup. But the different fats kind of were surprising to me. Now this old one, this old copy right here, first of all, notice that they call it chocolate chippers. I thought that was really funny. They have half a cup shortening. Now, one thing I will say, if you even look right here where it says a 6-ounce package of chocolate chips, right? That's half, because we're normally using a 12-ounce package. So this is a half recipe. So normally we have 1 cup of fats. Either we have half a cup of shortening and half a cup of butter, or we had 3/4 cup butter and 1/4 cup shortening. Well, this one's just half a cup of shortening. It's only shortening and it's just a half cup. So if you look at the other ingredients, it's not quite the same measurement either. I mean, it's a variant. It's got half a cup of granulated sugar and 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I'm sorry, I'm shaking my arm here. But it's got half a cup of granulated sugar and 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Well, the other recipe had 1 cup brown sugar and a half a cup of regular sugar. So it's not quite the same ratio. So this one's actually quite a bit different, even if you were to double it. So I just wanted to show you the different recipes and talk to you a little bit about how each one is different, but they're all pretty much gonna make a chocolate chip cookie, and they're all gonna taste really good, because can you really go wrong with a chocolate chip cookie? No. So the point of all that is, though, that even if you don't have the exact ingredients, let's say the first recipe calls for 1 cup packed brown sugar and 1/2 cup granulated sugar. If you had, you know, 1/2 cup of brown sugar and 1 cup of granulated sugar, you could probably use that. You can play with those measurements. You can play with those fats as long as you have about 1 cup of fat, either butter or shortening or whatever you want to use. As long as you have, you know, about 1 cup to 1.5 cups of sugars. You know, it's gonna make it taste a little bit different, but in the end, it's still gonna be a chocolate chip cookie. If you don't have semi-sweet, if you have milk chocolate morsels, if you don't use the nuts or do use the nuts, it doesn't matter. It's just whatever you have on hand and your preference. One of the big things about having a tight budget is being able to make changes to recipes on the fly. So I just wanted to throw that out there to you, because a lot of times people talk to me about how they had to run to the grocery store because they, you know, only had 1 cup of sugar and they needed another 1/2 cup. Well, don't run to the store for that. Try it with just the 1 cup and see how it goes, because it's pretty close. And it's probably the recipe that someone else is using in another cookbook. So anyway, just a little note on the cookbooks. Briana and I are gonna get started, and we're gonna use the recipe that's my favorite, that's from the cookbook that my father gave me for Christmas a few years ago. So here we go. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and make a gluten-free cookie recipe. So we're gonna use a 2.5 cup rice flour blend that we have pre-mixed. I'll put a link to that in the description box, but you can just use all-purpose flour if you want to make regular non-gluten-free cookies. So in addition to that, we have eggs. We're going to put 2 eggs in there. We're going to have a teaspoon of vanilla. We're going to have, these are actually 6-ounce bags of semi-sweet chocolate chips, so we're going to use 2 of those. 1/2 cup of butter, 1/2 cup of the shortening. We have our baking soda, which was a 1/2 teaspoon. Our brown sugar is going to be 1 cup, and we're also going to have a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. So we're going to gather all the ingredients now and get them started.
The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a 1/2 cup of butter and a 1/2 cup of shortening, and you're going to beat it on high for as long as you need it to be beat.
About 30 seconds.
About 30 seconds. Let's go! Just beat it! So now we are going to take 1 cup of brown sugar.
That's right.
And now we are going to put 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. I'm going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And now we are going to add 2 eggs. And now 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now mix it up. To add 2.5 cups of flour a little bit at a time. So we're just gonna get started. Once you scrape the sides and also scrape the beater, you're going to want to take the bowl out and then add the chocolate chips and then stir it with whatever. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so once it's all incorporated, put together, you're going to take a tablespoon and just scrape a little bit out of there, and not too much, that's like way too much. And you're just going to make a little ball. It's kind of gooey. And put that on your pan. Now I highly recommend these Pampered Chef pans, the stoneware, because they do not burn. Like, we have left things in there extra long time and they just straight up don't burn. So.
Oh, did I leave my spoon in there? Oh. I'm like getting a lot and then just splitting them.
Yeah. Make sure you leave some space between the chocolate chip cookie dough.
Because they will spread.
They will spread. And our oven is already set at 375 and warm. So as soon as we're done, we'll put these in the oven. Now we did use raw egg when we made this cookie dough.
Okay, that's what I was thinking do.
So you might be tempted to lick your fingers.
Don't.
We don't recommend that. Okay, so here's my completed cookie tray, and I'm gonna put it in the oven. I'm gonna put Briana's in too. A little messier.
I tried.
But still good. So we went ahead and pulled the cookies out, and you pretty much, it's 8 to 10 minutes in the oven, and then you're gonna let it sit here for a minute or so and get a little bit cool, and then you're gonna go ahead and try to get them up. I broke that one, but try to get them up neatly and set them on something to cool. Now I'll give you a hint right here. I'm using paper. I do not have a cooling rack. I don't want a cooling rack. It would be another thing to clean, and the neat thing about paper is it's going to absorb some of that moisture from the cooling, and also some of the oils and fats from the shortening and the butter that we used. So it really does a good job, and then when this is done, rather than having to wash it, I can just throw it away. It's a lot easier for cooling the cookies. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape all of those off, put another batch in, and we'll show you when they're all done. Okay, so we got all the cookies done. You can tell the last ones on top are a little bit darker. It's for some reason the last batch we always leave it in a little bit too long.
Yeah.
But I'm eating one. They're really, really good. They do not taste like gluten-free.
They don't. They just taste like normal cookies.
Yep, so delicious. We hope you like the recipe. We hope you'll try to make some. And don't forget, I'll leave the rice flour recipe in the description box. So that's it. Thank you for helping me make cookies.
Thank you for having me.
You are the best.
You are too.
Okay, well, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm really glad you came to visit us here at the Fundamental Home. Make sure if you enjoyed this video that you click the like button, and also click subscribe right below me for more videos coming into your inbox all the time. And also, if you enjoy social media, we've got links up at the top here for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, all the other fun things. And check out thefundamentalhome.com for more information about what we're doing all the time and how we do it, because there's way more details there. And here over to the right, we have some videos that I recommend. So thanks again for coming by, and we'll see you next time. Bye.